Hi, this is Bradley Emerson and welcome to Tips in 10. Today I want to talk to you about execution. Execution has been the biggest problem, be it at national level, be it at corporate level, but let's focus on personal level. I mean, look at the New Year resolutions we make. How many of that do we really execute? So we know, we mean well, we start well, and we fade off half the way. So success of your life, your career, is in the execution. I believe that you started what you want to do, where you want to go, but then how well do you execute? Researchers have shown nearly 90% of the corporate strategies don't get executed to its maximum. And there are reasons for this. Because there are the external factors change, environmental change, the dynamics are such, but then you, instead of tweaking it out and finding a way through to still consistently focus on where you're going, you tend to give up on your journey. Execution is mainly dependent upon your capabilities, whether it is corporate, whether it is national. It comes down to, end of the day, the resourcefulness of a nation, of a company, or yourself, and your capacity to extract that resources to achieve what we want. Enthusiasm often falls off as you start moving on the execution bit, because we don't stay focused on what we want to do. No journey, be it business, be it nation, be it personal, is easy. But everybody who has climbed the ladder have taken the trouble to climb the ladder. They are not given up on what they want to do. We don't start the journey with end in mind. Take an example of a sculptor. What does he do? Be it a piece of wood, be it a piece of stone, he sees the end in that. When he sees a log, he sees what he can make out of that. So he got the end in mind. He visualizes what it will be at the end of it. Every year, beginning of every year, we talk about New Year resolutions. Let me challenge you to ask a different question. Have we lived the last year that we started off to live it? And if you start asking that question, and if you ask why I didn't, then you will realize that you changed course because of external factors. You lost interest in what you want to achieve. Your physical fitness and mental preparedness was not there to go where you wanted to go, because you didn't build that. If you take an athlete who takes part in a triathlon, let's say it's a swimming, it's a running, and it's a cycling event. And what do they train for? They train for swimming, they train for endurance, they train for power, they do their breathing exercise, they practice cycling, they practice running, they practice their swimming before they get into a race. When they come there, when they start under the starter's orders, they know they have to swim, they know they have to run, they know they have to cycle. So they come in mentally prepared, physically fit to go there. So execution is a matter of physique and a matter of mind. So if you don't get your mind focused, and if you don't get your body prepared, and if you don't have the resourcefulness in terms of knowledge, you are not going to execute what you want to execute. So before you start on the journey, let's say you want to get into a competition where you have to swim, where you have to run, and where you have to cycle, you have to ask first whether I have the endurance to keep up these three events. Number two, whether I have the endurance to beat somebody in every event. Whether your mind is ready to take the pain and convert it into a success. So execution it fails because we don't have the end in mind. Execution fails because the resourcefulness of yourself, physically and mentally, is not geared to the dream that you want to achieve. You need to visualize the end, and then you begin to execute. Execute fails because you don't treat your work as a craft. A craftsman sees the end before even he starts. He visualizes the end. When you treat your work as a craft, then you begin to work towards it. And the final thing is the detail. The devil is in the detail. Execution fails because we have failed to give attention to a little detail that becomes a mountainous issue. So let me recap. Success lies in the execution. The rubber must hit the tar if you want to win the race. So you've got to get there and drive. So why do we fail? Because number one, we don't start with the end in mind. We don't see our function, our task as a craft. We need to make sure we are physically and mentally ready to endure the distance we need to run. Finally, make sure that you, every day, you rewind that day and ask yourself, have I lived that day the way I should have? If you look at the year, the week, the month, have I lived that day, that week, that month, that year, the way I should have? Do I have any regrets? If you can rewind and review your previous days, previous weeks, previous months, then you will know how to fast forward your present and execute what you want to achieve. Thank you very much. I'll see you soon.